Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Danielle and I currently live alone. I'm trying to shift towards healthier meals whilst remaining on a budget. And it is time to do another grocery shop, the weekly shop at Lidl. I will also be nipping into B&M today as well. I'm going to try to take you with me, not to necessarily do the full shop, but just to kind of go through snippets of things and perhaps point out a few things that I pondered here and there that weren't on my list, especially say in the middle aisle of Lidl or when I'm going around B&M as well. B&M is definitely a place where I can go in and end up spending more money than I intended to, picking up more things that I need to. And I'm hoping that if I do take the time to film it, that it'll mean that I can sort of look back and remember the items that I was pondering to decide whether I want to get them or not. But hopefully they'll help to hold me a little bit more accountable, I suppose, in terms of what I do actually pick up. I do always go into the store with a list, and I have my list divided up normally into different categories, just so that I do know exactly what to pick up and I can cross it off as I'm going along. But like I said, that list doesn't always go to plan, but I am trying to get better at it, because the only way to save money and eat healthy normally is to stick to what's on the list. Normally if I end up deviating from the list, it doesn't normally end up being quite as healthy. It normally ends up being snacks or random sort of little treats and things that aren't the best decisions. You know, on this list I have pizza and Scotch eggs, and they're obviously definitely not the best things for me, in the same way as I have the free bakery item on the list from Lidl as well, because the Lidl Plus app. But I find that if I do keep to that list, it definitely keeps the cost down and keeps everything a little bit healthier overall as well. But I am going to try to take you with me to Lidl and B&M. It will depend a little bit on how busy it is as well. Like I say, it won't be me going around the full shop. It will just be pointing out the odd item here and there if I can. But I'm definitely going to give that a go, and we'll see how we get on. And then either way, I'll come back here later and I will show you everything that I got in Lidl, and I'll always and in B&M, and as always I will give you the price breakdown as well. The person in B&M normally hates me, because when they ask if I want a receipt, I always say yes, and things are always a bit disgruntled at that, because they're never particularly happy in my local B&M, which I can't necessarily blame them, because I wouldn't be super happy if I was working sort of face-to-face retail as well. But normally they're incredibly grumpy. Some of them are kind of, you'll say hello, good morning to them, and you just don't get a single response. They don't even say how much your total is, they just throw it up onto the card machine. But it is what it is. We'll see how we get on when we're going through the actual store. And yeah, I'll catch back in with you all in a little while. Alright guys, so as you would have seen, I did end up going into B&M as well, and I did end up picking up a few bits. There are some bits that I'm not going to show because they are sort of gifts for some people. But I did end up picking up some of the pink digestives. These are raspberry and cream flavour. You'd have seen in some of the footage I probably have included. They did also have some gingerbread ones as well, but I did manage to hold off on those. They also had some other sort of things, like the fact they still had some of the Santa random Pringles in there as well amuses me, because the price is, you'd think that they might have discounted them more, but they obviously haven't, which is probably why they still have quite as many of them as they did. But then I also picked up some Neutrogena Clear and Radiant Face Scrub. This is one with vitamin C and then 0.5% salicylic acid. I can never say that word. But I wanted to pick this up. I do have some really basic one, but it actually breaks me out. So I'm hoping that this will be a bit better, where it's a more proper brand. In the similar vein as I basically ran out of my micellar water, the Lidl one that I have. So I did just pick up some of this extra large pack of Simple one, which I normally mainly just use it each night. I don't always tend to do sort of makeup and stuff, but sometimes I don't really want to be doing a proper face washy kind of thing. So I just do that to give it a bit of a rough cleanse before I go in with some toner. And again, the toner I have definitely probably doesn't even have enough to last a week, in the same way as the remaining micellar water I have does. So again, I just got one of the Simple ones. This is 100% alcohol free, witch hazel and pro vitamin B5 plus B3. So I'm hoping that my skin will get on all right with those. I don't normally have too much of an issue with them. But then I did spend quite a lot on a huge thing of Listerine as well. I'm nearly out of the Lidl one that I have, and honestly, the Lidl one I have doesn't necessarily feel like it is the most effective. This obviously isn't, I know it's not necessarily the best brand to actually get in terms of mouthwash, but I at least know that it makes it feel like it's working in terms of freshness and everything. So I did grab some of that as well in B&M. So in the end, I think all of those bits ended up being, let me think here, 10, I want to say about 20-ish pounds. I will put the actual price up somewhere in the corner, as well as the amount that I ended up spending in Lidl. But yeah, not too bad. And like I said, it's obviously stuff that's going to last me ages as well. And this stuff that I needed, apart from the biscuits, but everything else I obviously kind of needed. So it works out in the end in terms of balance, in terms of price and everything as well. But yeah, let me get on with what I'm actually going to eat for this week as well. Sort of once I finish showing you the bits and bobs that I got in Lidl. Alright guys, let's get on with what I did buy in Lidl this week. As you can see, a fair amount of items, including this Belgian bun that I did get free with Lidl Plus. But also, apologies for my air fryer being there. I didn't think to move it out of the way. And this is definitely highlighting that I need to give it another wipe down after I did cook with some oil the other day. But then I did also get a pack of 12 medium free range eggs. I do have quite a few ideas of what I want to do with these, and I currently only have one singular egg left as well. So it was time to pick up some more of those. And then I am back in my avocado phase. So I did pick up 2 of these large avocados, though sadly they weren't still on offer like last week. So definitely came as a bit of a grumble to me, but still not too bad a price. And I did pick ones that were just and just about to get ripe. Then I picked up 2 more red bell peppers as well. I thought about getting a pack of 3, but I'm not sure whether I'll actually need both of these this week, so I decided just to get to 2. But then I'm also going to have this pizza over the weekend. I'll probably have already eaten it by the time that you do see this video. But I just decided to get one of the sort of the reasonably small size ones. This definitely feels like a more single person appropriate one. And then, of course, I got some more salad as well. Again, I'm probably going to incorporate this into either a mixture of a dinner that I have in mind or on the side of some dinners, or just simply, of course, as sort of a quick, speedy lunch as well. But then I do have a dinner in mind that involves some watercress specifically, but they didn't just have bags of watercress, so I ended up getting that blend of watercress, spinach, and rocket as well. Then I got some more wraps. These are definitely going to be for lunches. There is one dinner idea that I want to use for them as well. And they always say about putting them in the freezer, but the issue is that even if I was to do that, unless I was to then want to have all of them in a row, it's not very easy to then freeze and defrost them. Then I also picked up more tins of tuna. I am completely out of tuna, and I want to kind of have something like this just to get some of my protein in when it comes to sort of lunches and things. And then chilies, I just realistically needed to have one singular chili, but they only come in packs in my Lidl at least. So I did just get that pack of 3 of them. And I will definitely find ways to incorporate them into things. And then whilst they had loose carrots, all of the loose carrots looked incredibly sad, to be honest. And I wasn't really feeling that. So I did just get a bag of the 500 grams of carrots instead. A bit of a treat for myself, I got some Scotch eggs as well. Obviously, not the healthiest thing, but they're super quick and easy to go and perfect for a speedy lunch as well. As always, I got some more Greek yogurt. I do still have a pot of it that I am just about to open, but normally they don't last me quite a full week, so I picked up another one as well. And then I decided to get some smoked mackerel fillets. They had a variety of different flavors, but I decided to get the peppered one. They just look super yummy. And again, I'd be able to incorporate them into a few different meals, or sort of then once I've used it for the actual meal, I want into some lunches as well. And then there's this beetroot. I'm intending to do some of the beetroot with some of that mackerel and then some of that watercress and everything as a dinner. But then I'll be able to find ways to do something with the rest of that beetroot as well. And I wasn't planning on purchasing these, but I spotted them in one of the middle aisle sort of things. And it is some seaweed chips. So I decided that I will give them a go and see what I think of them. And they're in the sweet sriracha flavour as well. And then I managed to pretty badly bruise up my spring onions when I was taking them out of the shopping. But I did just pick up some more of those up as well. As some of this lighter than light mayonnaise. Obviously, I'm aware that probably getting full mayonnaise is in some ways better than something super light, but I can't bring myself to do that calorie wise when I do prefer to get mayonnaise. And then finally, I also grabbed some kitchen towel as well because I am onto my last one. So that is everything I got from Lidl this week. Okay, so you can see I did end up getting a fair few bits in Lidl, but most of it was on the list. There was the odd item that wasn't on the list, as is usual either way. But I think it will be, or it'll work out all right in the end. And sort of the snacks I got, I just wanted to give them a try. And again, they're not necessarily the healthiest of snacks, but they definitely could have been a lot worse as well. But for my meals of the week plan, and again, this is very much a plan given how the last week of meals actually went. Didn't go to plan at all. Let's be realistic there. If you've seen my meals of the week video, you'll know that it was a complete disaster. But this week I'm intending to do some cheeseburger wraps. When I say that, I don't mean like the ones that I failed to do catastrophically last time, where it was cooking it on the actual wrap. Instead, I'm going to mainly cook the burgers and then fold them into the wrap with some cheese and stuff as well. But then I'm also going to do some sweet and sour chicken noodles using some of the rice noodles that I have, which are very similar to the rice vermicelli noodles, I'm pretty sure, but I have a whole pack of those. So, but that will be a little bit more of an interesting way to kind of use them up and stuff instead of just doing another stir fry. At least gives it a direction, if nothing else. It doesn't necessarily sound any more exciting or different when I say it on reflection. But then I'm also going to do some breaded chicken. I still have loads of breadcrumbs. Then normally the chicken breasts that I've been getting from the butchers very easily create 2 portions worth of meals. So bread the rest of that up probably into kind of cube kind of thing, sort of like chicken nuggets, but definitely not. Still have a potato left, and then I have some corn on the cob in the freezer as well. So do all of those kind of things together as kind of a fake away kind of meal, I suppose. Nothing fancy, but it will work. Then I'm going to reattempt the kind of sushi bowl situation that I've tried a few times, but I do have some nori sheets in there that I want to try to use, and I will maybe attempt sushi instead. I feel like that can't go any worse than when I tried to do the whole bowl situation. So I will probably try to do that as well. And if anybody asks, I have a mild ear infection, I think, and it's bothering me quite a lot. But then I'm still going to try and do those meatballs. I know I've been saying it now, this is the third week in a row, and I'm going to have meatballs. Well, I really want to. I have a small amount of tagliatelle left, maybe not enough just for one more set of pasta dishes, probably for two. But tagliatelle and meatballs, I obviously have chopped tomatoes and things, always have the vegetables and stuff to be able to put in there. You know, obviously, especially with the amount of carrots and stuff you would have seen that I got this week as well. And then I'm going to try to do a crispy sort of smoked mackerel salad kind of thing, which is why I got some of that smoked mackerel, the kind of watercress spinach combination thing as well. And then I obviously have some eggs. I might end up doing some soft-boiled eggs and putting them onto it as well. So a fairly light, simple meal, but that'll be pretty good for a day where I'm in a bit of a rush. So perhaps Monday, when I'm doing my long day at work and I don't necessarily have the time or the energy, definitely more the energy to be fair, at the end of the day. But then for sort of breakfast or lunches, I obviously got more yogurt, and I still have quite a lot of fruit. I still have some oranges, bananas and kiwis from last week, which is why I didn't pick any up this week. Doing those kind of things. And then obviously I have those wraps as well. So that will be something that I can incorporate either into breakfast or lunches. I'm planning to do also sort of omelettes and then egg mayonnaise wraps, which is why I got so many eggs, because if I do something like egg mayonnaise wraps, if I'm boiling them all up, then even if I just boil half of them up, then that still only leaves me with sort of a few for the omelette, and if I do then say some with that mackerel salad as well. And then tuna mayonnaise wraps as well, which is again why I got so much tuna, but it means that I can probably make up sort of enough tuna mayonnaise for 2 wraps or 2 days worth of meals, and then have it so it makes it a lot quicker for the next day as well. So I'm definitely trying to plan ahead and think of ways that, even though I am eating sort of solo and trying to do it on a budget, being like, well, this tin of tuna is 2 portions of tuna. How can I make that work but make my life easier for lunches? And tuna mayonnaise is something I can eat multiple days in a row. It isn't kind of like when I have a pasta dish, then I don't want to have it the next day. Tuna mayonnaise is just tuna mayonnaise. It's nice and simple. And if I make the mayonnaise itself up, if I do end up wanting to do something else, then I can just cook up some pasta. I can do a potato, something like that, to incorporate it all together as well. You know, it just gives me that kind of option. It's a good base thing to have. But that is the plan. And the key word there is that is the plan, because there's absolutely no guarantee I will be able to stick to it. But we'll see how we get on. So I did obviously end up spending, because of going into B&M, a bit more money than I perhaps wanted to this week. It's kind of that midweek end of paycheck lull as well. So it's definitely starting to feel like it's dragging on, but I should just move some money out of savings. It isn't a big deal, I suppose, in that sense, because I do at least have the luxury now of, I'm just trying to shop on a budget more to save money and pay off debts, rather than absolutely having to spend a certain amount of money each month. I'm definitely privileged in that sense, and I'm very grateful for where my life has taken me to be in a point of doing that. But I also resent spending more on food than I have to, especially when it is so difficult to find food that works in terms of living by yourself and finding meals that work as well. But that is enough rambling from me. I hope you have enjoyed seeing what I picked up in Lidl and B&M this week, and what I plan to do in terms of cooking with it all as well. And still am trying to do a small amount of sort of project pantry, which is going through with varied success, especially with my fridge and freezer things as well. But if you do enjoy me rambling and you are still sticking around, if you didn't earlier, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. But I will catch you again later on for recipes, more of these videos, or of course the overall summary of meals that I did eat in the week. And talk to you all again soon. Have a good one. Bye.